What's cracking, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. New video. I was just scrolling through the YouTube comments on my video. I can't remember the exact title of the video, but I'll post it up here. I believe it was getting 20 years to life at 20 years old. I think that was the name of the video. And somebody just left a comment. And the comment was, you should make a video on the stone cold killer, Sammy the Bull Gravano. While I was in the shoe in Pelican Bay, I read several books on the thing that they had going on over there in New York. You know, the mob guys over there in New York, the 5 families. I read stuff on the Chicago stuff. And I did read a book on John Gotti and Sammy the Bull. I believe it was called The Good Guys. And I think a lot of people that have an opinion of John Gotti and Sammy the Bull should really read that book. And it's a different book. But I have never thought to make a video about Sammy the Bull. I don't know him. You know, we all know the stories. And, you know, at first I brushed it off like, I don't want to talk about that guy. And then I started thinking about it. And I'm going to share with you the thoughts that were going through my mind. And I want to hear from you guys in the comments what you think. And something that I'm going to start doing is I'm going to pin the best comment. Sometimes it might be the comment that gets the most likes. Sometimes it might just be the one that resonates the most with me. Or that I feel will get more people engaged in the comment section. We'll figure it out. This is brand new, okay? But I started thinking, Sammy the Bull, if you've read anything about him, Sammy the Bull was a gangster. Through and through, he was a gangster. All he cared about was that thing, right? Their thing. Sammy the Bull, I believe, had never done any time. He was involved in so much violence. I believe he's admitted to 19 murders. He's destroyed countless people's lives. You know, when somebody gets killed, that's the direct victim. But then they have indirect victims, which is the wife or the mother, the brother, the sister, the siblings, right? Their kids, and then their kids, and it's a ripple effect, right? So imagine 19 bodies. How many people were affected? And he never did no time. This dude was involved in the plannings of just about everything they were doing. And he was a stone cold killer. By all accounts, nobody has ever said Sammy the Bull, nobody that was involved in that life with that individual has ever said Sammy the Bull was not a killer. So we have to accept that he was a killer and he was a gangster, okay? But here's the thing that I want to try to figure out. And I want you to try to figure it out. So the United States government wanted John Gotti so bad. You know, he was beating Ricos, and he was beating these cases, and he was taking odds. You know, he was a very, very, very bad thing for their thing. Too flamboyant, too much spotlight. And he pissed them off, and they wanted him so bad. John Gotti, a man who probably only had one body in his whole career, probably only had one body, and that's the guy that killed his son, ran his son over by accident. That's probably the only body he had. Maybe he had 2. But this guy, John Gotti, was wanted so bad because of his big mouth that the government cut a deal with a man who had 19 confirmed kills. Who knows how many more? Who knows how many more that he committed? And that's not what this video is about. We're not trying to solve crimes. I'm trying to figure out, how did that sit right with the government to go after the guy with the big mouth that's not really, if you look into him, was not really a gangster? How does the government say, let's go after this one big mouth guy that doesn't really commit acts of violence himself and utilize the real gangster and killer of the crew? Get him to flip, give him a slap on the wrist, and a taste of freedom. There's going to be people that are going to say, oh, Dubs, you're a hypocrite. You killed somebody too. I did. I killed someone who got into a car full of his friends and came into my neighborhood. And his friends that survived admitted to the cops that they went into my neighborhood to put in work on us. I told them to leave. They reached for weapons. Let's go. Am I proud of that? Absolutely not. That's a shameful thing. But he wasn't a kid. He wasn't an old man. He was 10 years older than me. I was 19. He was 29. I defended myself. Even though he took off and tried to run after they brought out the weapons, the person I was back then was a killer. And I went to prison. And I paid an up price. Do I deserve to be out? Only God knows, because he gave me the second chance. Getting back to Sammy the Bull, the government wanted an individual, one person, so bad. One person, John Gotti. They wanted that one person so bad that they disregarded the pain, the suffering, the trauma of 19 families. Innumerable victims. They gave Sammy the Bull a slap on the wrist, and John Gotti died of cancer. And Sammy the Bull got out. He moved west, moved to Arizona, set up shop, and poured poison into the community there. He's an old guy now. He's not involved in criminality anymore. I'm not saying that dude belongs in prison. I'm not saying any of that. I'm just trying to understand how the government is willing to do deals like that. And I want to know what you guys think about it, you know? I can't say that the government was being spiteful towards the victims' families, but they damn sure weren't thinking about them. And the clash of egos was so bad that you had this egomaniac on the courtroom steps clowning the government, and you had the government saying, let's cut a deal with Sammy the Bull, the real killer of the Gambinos, the mastermind behind the murders. That's a strange thing, right? Leave you something to ponder. It's my video for today. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Everybody, please be safe, be smart, and tell the ones you love that you love them, man. I'm out of here.